Uh, Let me get my headset on. I'm back on recording. Uh, First off, I want to honor my ancestors. My mother, Amanda, my father, Abraham, and my mother's mother was Ruby, and her husband, my grandfather, Joe Williams, and my great grandmother, Mary Davis, and my great grandfather, Anthony Davis, and my great great grandmother, Rachel Jackson. I didn't know her husband's name. All right, getting to it. I want to first start off. I want to really start it off good, and I want to sing my mother's song. I keep singing it. One of these days, I'm gonna get it right. God touch me, God touch me, and all the joy within my soul. Something happened, and now I know He touched me and made me whole. Shackled by a heavy burden, beneath the load of guilt and shame. And the hands of God touch me, and now I'm no longer the same. For He touched me, oh, He touched me, and all the joy that floods my soul. Something happened, and now I know He touched me and made me whole. Since I met this blessed Savior, since He cleansed and made me whole. Oh, I'll never cease to praise Him. I will shout it from eternity roll. Oh, He touched me. Oh, He touched me. And all the joy within my soul. Something happened, and now I know He touched me and made me whole. Yes, that was my mother's song, and I remember going to Oklahoma to visit her. And my baby was with me, and my mother was singing the song, and the guy that was director, more or less, he was trying to rush her, and my mother got stubborn. And anyway, but getting back to what I'm gonna be keep repeating. First off, slavery was a crime against humanity. Yesterday, today, and forever. So leading up to that, now I wanna start with when I first came to California. I came to California. I was uh, my cousin. I had met her when I was in the army in Louisville, Kentucky. And when you get out the army, come to California. So 2 years after I got out the army, in 1954, 1956, I come to California in August of '56. And when I got here, my cousin was in Las Vegas getting a divorce. So I went to Las Vegas. At that time, there were African Americans weren't allowed on the strip, so there was a club. You went through Las Vegas, and at the end there was a club called Moulin Rouge. And anyway, the lady where my cousin was staying asked me, did I know how to put these 12 by 12 squares down on the floors? And I said, sure. I never did it, but I said, yeah. And I went and did it, and I did 5 of them. So after I finished the five, uh, she paid me. It was $125. So I went around to the club. I got on that table. I thought I know how to shoot dice, and before I know it, I didn't have no money out of the $125. I went back to my cousin, and she said, "You crazy?" But anyway, I got a hitchhike back to California, and of course, she wasn't coming for another couple of weeks, so she opened the house up and everything. So, I had a car and I was warming up. She had a Cadillac and I was warming it up. I drove around on Broadway in 46, 47, right? And there was two young girls, and I was backing up, and the police came, and they came over and they gave me a ticket, and they were pretty nice at that particular time. And they asked me. I told them that I just come to California from New York, and I just got out of the army a couple of years ago. I had no skills, and I was looking for a job, and they were real nice. They gave me a ticket. They didn't take the car. So anyway, well, some years went by, and I was driving down the street. I had a '54, no mirror on each side, and I had a washing machine in the trunk. And so they stopped me and gave me a ticket. No, no, they arrested me because I had a warrant. That incident when I first came to California, I never paid it. Well, so anyway, they took me to the 77th. I called my wife and, hey, get me out of here. So my wife got bailed me out and whatnot. And when I got to court, the traffic court at that particular time was on 8th and Wall. Uh, Everybody was going along fine. The judges giving them, it wasn't real big fines because I guess he was a real passionate judge, and he figured people didn't have a lot of money. So anyway, the two guys in front of me was a Spanish guy, and understand the English and all that stuff. So the judge cut him loose. So when he got to the back of the court, he says, "Good English, goodbye, Your Honor." Oh, judges, stop that man. Judge brought him in there, gave him 30 days. So I'm the second up after this incident. So when he got to me, he said, "Now, what's your excuse?" I said, "Nothing, Your Honor." And he said, $80 for 8 days. So I went and got the $80 and I paid it. So that was my being arrested. So if anybody want to ever say Anthony Marshall was arrested, I just told the world what I was arrested for. And it was a little, my, when I first come to California, I was looking, I wasn't married at the time. And I was looking, everything looked good. Everybody looked good. Okay, let me go on from there. Then I met my wife, and then we got married in '57. It was '56 when we met in '57, July '57. We got married, and of that union we had six. And first, I did all kind of jobs. I drove yellow cab. No, let me back up. I worked in the factory. Then I worked at the post office. No, no, I was driving yellow cab. And when I come out one night and I hit a post office truck. The yellow cab fired me. So I went to work for the post office as a janitor. And then within the system of the post office, I went from janitor to mail handler. So when I left the post office, I was on the Star Route. There was the bags that come in from San Bernardino, San Francisco, and I was coding them and sending them the way they went. Each truck that was on the Star Route. Then I left there and went to the shipyard. When I got to the shipyard, I started there again as a janitor because I had no skills. So I was a good janitor. And the master electrician, the name was Joseph Lambert. And he came there one day and he says, "Think you ever change enough light bulbs to be an electrician?" I said, "Well, I make 8 5 every chance I get trying to get a better job because I have a family and my wife and children." So He says, "How would you like to be on detail in law making help electrician?" I said, "I'll be beautiful. I appreciate it." So I went on 6 months of detail, and then after 6 months, I became a help electrician. And whenever I was out there learning, and the more I was learning, and then whenever the foreman, I finish a job, I go to the foreman and say, "You got anything else for me?" The rest of the guys said, "Man, you're supposed to hide out." No, 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 you don't learn nothing hiding out. So anyway, 17 and a half years later, I was a German electrician when I left the shipyard. And in 1981, I studied to get my contract license. I went, they studied to the test. So I went to Pasadena and took the test. It was an 8 hour test, 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening, law and theory. And then I got my contract license in 1981. Now, I did quite built. Well, I started out in Watts, remodeling houses. We were changing the electricity, changing the water, hot water heater, changing the windows, stucco in, roofing, and we were only getting the most I ever get received from doing these. You had to break it down to $25,000. But anyway, I seen I was in the wrong place, so I went west, and then in Hollywood I started getting a lot of jobs, and did a job for a Russian in Hollywood. Anyway, plans was to convert a rumpus room into uh, like a rumpus room, but on the plans it said no kitchen facility. So when I'm all finished, almost all finished, my nephew, I know he wanted me to do the kitchen facility, but I didn't want to cut it to my front contract because then I would have been screwed. Anyway, I stayed out off the scene, but I did most of my own work anyway. So anyway, my nephew Donald went over there and he says, "If Anthony no here, nobody works." So Donald came back and told me I was doing another job. So anyway, he took me to court. So when we get to court, uh, he tells the judge, "My son will speak for me because I don't speak too good English." The judge said, "You're doing fine." So anyway, his son was trying to talk, but nobody can talk for you about it. Anyway, he jumps up and says, "Well, Your Honor, I told Anthony nephew Donald, if Anthony no here, nobody works." And she said, "Do you realize Anthony's a contractor? He don't have to be there doing the work." And I won the case. So that night, his sister calls me and she says, "Anthony," I said, "Yeah." She says, "That was that's my property that Mac was just doing my bidding." I said, "I know, I realize that, but what can I do?" And it was 3,200 left in the contract. So I try to not only talk, but I try to live being honest and decent with people. So I said, "Sonia, give me a cashier's check. I'll send my nephew for it. $1,800. Because the remaining of the contract was $3,200. The judge gave me that because he put me off the job, really. So, but I was being decent, so I just give me $1,800 because that's what I figured I had left, you know. So anyway, and that was the end of that. That was that particular job. But I did many different. I did uh, tore a house down in West Los Angeles, tore it down, and built it back. And I charged the lady $69,000. And when we got there was a lady that became her conservator. So she went to fishing. She trying to find somebody that's stealing this old lady's money. So 4 o'clock one morning, the sheriff served me and says, uh, "You've been served." And I said, "What is this?" So I looked at the paper. It said that I had fraud a senior citizen out of X amount of dollars. So anyway, I went. Everybody said, "Get a lawyer." I said, "What the heck am I gonna get a lawyer for? I didn't do nothing, and I got a contract. It was $69,000. So went into court. The judge says, um, uh, "Were you a contract when you did this work?" I said, "Yes." He said, "What did you charge?" I said, "I just $69,000. I tore the house down and built it back." And then she wanted when she came in the scene where it was flowers framed, and she wanted the wall moved 3 feet. So she says, Anthony, I want, when you came and signed a contract in my kitchen, that's why I hang out in my kitchen. She said, could you bring that wall over? And she showed me, and I said, yes, but it's gonna cost you. So she said, how much? I said, well, I just put roughly $3,200 because I had to tear the whole wall across the whole building. And so anyway, but she gave me, you give, whenever you have a change order, you get that money right up front. You don't wait on that because you don't want to get involved with the other part of the contract. So I finished the job and I had it approved and everything. So anyway, the lady that became the guy that took me in the court, the lawyer, he walks up to me and he want to know about, he's going fishing. He wants to find out about somebody else. I said, look here, you just took me in the daggone court and I'm going to help you screw somebody else. You got to be out your daggone mind. I'm honest and I tell you like it is. I don't wait till later or scratch them button. No, I'm just telling it like it is. Anyway, that was the end of that. Then I had, I had many. When the last thing that happened before the last thing happened, why they took my license. I had a lady in Paramount. She, I'm on the way out because I'm fed up with dealing with these people that want something for nothing and always want you to do more than what your contract say, and they don't realize that just because I'm doing a job that I suppose if you tell me I got to do something to redo it or the building safety come and say something else and want something else done, uh, I'm not supposed. I'm supposed to eat that. That's what they looked at. So anyway, this lady, and when I started backing up, she poured it on buildings. She told me that the guy was going to charge her $15,000. Okay, well, I do most of my work, so I'm working for myself. I don't care. Anyway, I did $7,900. Anyway, I was all finished except for the painting of this room that I'd added on the front of the house. And that day, she kept coming by the paint that she chose. And she was just smiling. Then that next day, me and a very good friend, William, was helping me at that particular time because he had just retired after 32 years. And he had painted the house, that room. So that next day I get there, she said, I don't like that paint. I said, what am I supposed to do? I'm not going to paint that again. So anyway, that's when she took me to court in Compton. And but prior to that, in order to do what she wanted to do, building safety was against it. So she had to bring a wall back. And I did that because I just wanted to get out of there. But the more I did, the more that lady poured on me. And then I did some other work. I just, I hate, as a black man in this country, we always suspicious that we always doing something against other people. But this lady just poured it on. So she took me to court. When we get to court, the commissioner of the court was a lady, black lady. And she seen that this lady was after me, and she said, "No, we're gonna send this before a mediator." So the next day, we sent us before a mediator, and he was a Hispanic person. And the first thing out of his mouth, give her $1,000 and to be over. I said, "No, I'm gonna give her a damn thing. She owes me $2,900." So then we go back before Judge Webster. Judge Webster gives her the whole $2,700. Contractor board, no bonding company, whatever, but they spend my life. Well, that's all right. You're not gonna stop me from working, but I have the ability to. If one person hurt me, somebody else is gonna help me. So I went to doing lecture work for a gentleman. He had a whole bunch of property, and he paid me $20 an hour. I don't. So what you want me to steal or sell drugs? No, I went to work. I kept on working, and I just mention these things because it hurts when people keep doing things to you, especially as a black man in this country. I don't care what slavery. This is the aftermath of slavery. I go into court automatically. I'm guilty. I put a roof on a lady's house. I had to strip the old roof off and then put new plywood on around the eaves. The guys that helped me use uh, 1 inch nails, which they should have used a half-inch nails, so it wouldn't have protrude down. So when she was complaining about that, I said, "Well, maybe I can rectify it. I can clip the nails off, put plywood down, and paint it, and you won't see it. It's a compromise." Oh no, she wasn't savage, so she took me into court. And we get before the judge, she sits there and no, she's standing there and she looked so sad. The judge said, "You need a chair." And she said, "Yeah." And then that was it. I had to eat $2,200. I mean, it went on and on and on. But I didn't stop there. I didn't go mad at nobody, go shoot nobody, or hurt somebody's property. And I'm just why I'm saying all this leading up to what I am coming up with a solution for us African American men, those who went to jail, those who were in trouble, even those like me, stayed with my wife, been married 62 years, raised my children, they all doing fine, and I but I'm in the same boat as those youngsters that went to jail and served time, and then they come out and nobody wants them. And but I tell it like it is, and I'm on a podcast until God called me up yonder because I'm not mad, but I just know what's going on around us. See, and but like I say, there was a lot of good people, a lot of good jobs I had. People appreciate what I did, and so they showed me appreciation. I was doing work for a guy, had a bunch of property, and I just and I wasn't greedy. I was just needy, and plus I had helped my wife go to college, and she became a teacher. I volunteered my services in the neighborhood. I went to the school, donating my time. The Sheenway School on Broadway and 102nd. I went in there and asked the lady came out and says, "That lady in there need help." We were standing out on Broadway for me and Mr. Peoples for reparations. And I would be out there every morning from 8 to 10. Then I would go to work. So that evening I came back and I went to that school and I asked the lady, I says, I sat there through the whole meeting. She said, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, the lady told me she needed help, so I come in to help." And she said, "I got a classroom." I gave a guy $20,000 and he took the money, he gone. So I said, "Okay." I said, I'll donate my time, but you furnish the material, I'll finish it. So she gave me a letter of appreciation and everything. And her name was Anthony Loris. And some years later, when I got my 100% disability from the government sent me a letter that I made $2,000 and didn't declare it. But when I did that situation, I was not getting 100%. So I just wrote Molly Bell, a friend of mine, in the struggle for reparations, wrote the letter for me and sent it to Washington. That was the end of it. But like I say, us black men, Yeah, and I'll say it again and say it loud. When I go in places, I'm under suspicious who I go in the store. And when I go in the store and you watching me, I'll leave out. I won't spend a quarter. That's what I'm telling my brothers and sisters. If people don't want to treat you decent, don't spend your money with them. And then we got a lot of our own people who work to have places that we don't even patronize. So, and I know what situation I was when I was working. But there was, I want to say this and I'm going to end the conversation. I had a contract to tear down 3 houses. And I had this guy says, hey, he got a skip loader. And when he tear the house down, wanted to grind it so break the wood up so that I had my guys to come and load it and take it away. Anyway, I went up to my land. I had 22 acres of land. I'm going to talk about that in another podcast. Up in San Bernardino, I was trying to, we're going to build that when in 1989, I bought it. I wanted to build an African family village. Anyway, that's in on another podcast. But anyway, when I come back to Los Angeles, I went by the house. My 3 houses still standing. Go to the guy's house. I said, well, how come you didn't tear my house down? He said, man, I tore them houses. He tore somebody else's house down. He said, who gonna pay me? I said, you tear my 3 houses down, I tear it down. But he got out of lucky because the houses he tore was in the next block. It was 2 houses. And the old guy that lived next door was the owner of the 2 houses, but he couldn't afford to have them torn down. So he's out there watering the lawn. And then this guy comes and he started tearing them houses down. He started smiling. He said, I'm getting a free. And that's a little humor in life anyway. But the bottom line is I'm going to keep on podcasting about and tell when people realize that all us black men are not crooks, not thieves. Like I have 6 children, I have 22 grands, I have 16 great grands, and I love all of them equally. Owe me money, duck me, that's all right. But they ain't gonna get no more from me, duck those that owe me. So I, I, but anyway, on the next podcast, I'll mention about how I came up with the concept of the African family village. Thank you very much.